We are gonna show them, this we are gonna show them. We are gonna show them, this we are gonna show them. Where we are gonna show them. Go drink a cup of water if you thirsty. Go. Old time style of the alarm pull up. Then from Jamaica and the reach of Europe. DJ them a beauty till we get all fed up. And if you is a clown, you figure a circus. Send them your lyrics from the man genius. Why this Chinese man when they call it Confucius? I'm ready to tear it up right and around. 3.140 to a 20 to over 7. You have two sides to a right angle. You
Hello, how's everybody doing? It's Pale Horse here. We're working on something a little different today. We're gonna try and do a art card, and if people aren't familiar with what a art card or a sketch card is, it's basically the standard is 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches, and it's a small little art collectible card. Tops puts out some movie cards every once in a while, and sometimes a lucky fan is able to pull a sketch card out of the packs, and that's kind of like how they got popular. Is it was like your chance to own a license, like Lucasfilm piece of artwork that you find in a pack of cards, kind of like a baseball deck, but it's movies or whatever popular thing that's going on. I've seen Star Wars. I've seen Walking Dead, stuff like that. So it's pretty wide the gambit of things that you can get a sketch card or other cards that you can collect. But so today we're gonna work on. Oops, give me 1 second. I'm still trying to figure out some of my audio issues. But anyways, we're gonna be working on a raven, and it's gonna be on a little wood panel. So you can kind of see what's going on and how small the thing actually is. So I got the sketch prepared already, so we could get right into painting. I'll show you a better picture. And like always, we're going to be using some blue and black golden brand acrylics. I prefer the fluid type. It's smooth and has a lot of nice pigment in it, and it works well for how I paint. I want to give a shout out to my lovely wife in the chat. What's up? Thanks for the steak. I'm gonna get some later. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to start filling out the darkest darks and just getting the different levels of light and shadow going. I mixed up a blend of Platho blue and carbon black, and giving it makes a nice little blue black color, and that's what I start out with my my middle tone. So I try to get the everything covered, and then hit it with a real dark and a real light, so we have the whole gambit of the light spectrum, and then come back in with some color washes and just beef it up from there. So let's get into it. And today we're going to be listening to Shamanavi and Pale Horse, if I can get my audio to cooperate. That's me and my buddy from back in the day. or maybe not. I'm having too much problems with it. It's been kind of a ongoing hassle trying to get the music to work properly and and have control over the levels, or the audio levels, volume. Thought I had it worked out, but it's being a little bit more difficult. Thanks. Are you using the vegetable spice? Or the roasted chicken spice? Sounds good. How you cooking it, with the air fryer or in the oven? Nice. Sounds delicious. Okay, I think I fixed everything. Let me know if the music is way too loud or anything. Still trying to figure things out. I had bought a cable that said it was shielded, and it's still picking up electronic interference, which is causing a lot of issues. So let's get back into it. Sorry about all that pause right there. So getting back to what I'm doing here is I'm layering in a couple of wash layers to get the overall tone of what I'm working on, and building up on the each layer, so you kind of get this nice smooth blend into the dark shadows of what you're painting. It's a lot of you know, give and take, push and pull. I think I removed everything. What's up, Olden Science? How you doing? I pulled off this charger that I had that I think was causing a problem and switched back to my old cable. So everything on my end uh, looks like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. But let me know if anything else is being weird. Um, I got everything removed right now, so hopefully everything's better. So now I'm introducing a little bit more saturated blue into that blue-black mixture. Since my Raven is already pretty much the same color. I'm just gonna go in early with a little bit of more saturated colors instead of going through the whole thing with the wash. I think introducing color a little bit early might make it stand out a little bit more. So you got these ravens have kind of like an iridescent shine to them in different light.
The cheetah will say, if you servants, you wretched little human beings, we are going to make you into gods. And the human beings agreed, said the cheetah will. And the cheetah will gave human beings a second gift, the gift of language. People started talking with their tongues where they had talked with their minds before.
Almost forgot to do something. So before we get too crazy with the detail, I want to do a little bit of a splatter in the background. So let me see if I have a better brush to work with. That might work. Okay. So I used to do this all the time when I was more interested in like concept designs for like movies and stuff, and like seeing how like the artists did stuff, and like every once in a while they'll do like a portrait of the characters, and they would have a like just plain background, and then the portrait of the character with like maybe a loose drawn rectangle around the thing. And but sometimes they would add like splatter effects on the paper beforehand, and I always thought that was pretty cool. So I'm gonna try and do that on this. And since this is a little small canvas, a little bit will go a long way. So I don't want to do too crazy. So kind of cover most of the canvas. There we go. And now we can just paint over some of it. And later on, when we add some more washes to the background, we'll get some cool texture going on. Really want to get a there we So now we'll leave that to dry for a second. Paint all over my nail now. Alright, so let's get back to the getting those darks in there. You're making hot pot? I love hot pot. I never thought I would like hot pot and Asian food as much as I do. It's good. So we're just still going around pulling out, putting in those dark areas. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies. Just kind of pulling out the important ones. There's a lot of feathers and stuff, so you don't want to just, you don't want to do every single feather. You don't want to go crazy. But I think if you just overdo it, I kind of like, I don't know. I like it more when things are suggested with like brush stroke, texture, and the angle of the line. And then you can kind of just suggest things and let the audience use their mind to fill in the rest. So I'm trying to get this beak of the bird a little bit darker on this edge to help round the beak a little bit, because it's darker down here and rolls up to a lighter shade, and then has a rim light of a highlight real skinny across the top. I like to work dark to light and build up texture with washes. Guys are going fast. I catch up on what you guys are talking about. Any excuse for Big Bertha. That'd be awesome. Olden, you're welcome to come visit us anytime. We'll show you a good time. We got a big silver bean. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Chicago's got a big silver bean. They got some killer noodles, like ramen noodles, and what else? There's some good hot pot places. And what else we got? Everybody says our hot dogs are good too, and so is our pizza, but we have that all the time, so I guess I get tired of it. But yeah, I think I would miss it if I went somewhere else. Italian beef? What? Really? Yeah, I guess. I don't know, pizza before beef though. And Gene and Jude's hot dog, where they put the fries on the hot dog, like on top of it, and they don't give you ketchup, but I think they give you packets now. Before there was like this thing that they said they wouldn't give you ketchup, or it was like a sin. But that's the way I like my hot dogs, is with ketchup on it. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, pizza on beef. That's the way to go. I totally forgot about that. That's awesome. I used to eat that all the time. Yeah. All right. What do you guys think? Doing a nice bright red background for this guy? I think that'd be cool. Yeah, BA is awesome. They make gourmet hamburgers. I'll tell you a little bit about them. So, like, I used to work there a while back, a couple years. I don't remember how many years it's been, but I used to work there as a dishwasher. And then I would eat their food all the time and always get the. It's a 9-ounce patty on a pretzel bun with cheddar cheese, apple smoked bacon, and what else? Frizzled onions, and they have like what's it called, like natural cut fries or whatever, where you push them through the grate, whatever. I don't know what that's called, but those are really good. So you think purple? Yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that. All right. So I got some Pyroll red, and we're gonna mix it with some Platho blue, and that's gonna give us a nice. I think that's gonna give us a soft purple. Let's see. Yeah, add some. Actually, I have a really good purple we can use. Totally forgot about that. Here it is. All right, this is new acrylic. It's called Alpha Acrylic. It's by a company called Alpha 6. It's pretty good. They got really a real nice thick pigment, um, and it spreads real easy. All right. Oh yeah, I forgot I did do the space dogs on a stream. I didn't think I had the stream going when I was still doing it. It's been a busy month. I've had so much stuff going on. After I finished the space dogs, there was 3 of them. I had them all professionally framed and hung in a show at we were just talking about BA Burger Antics, and we got a lot of people like them. I put some portraits over there, and I get my wife was telling me that a bunch of people like them too. My portraits of Beetlejuice and Batman, so they're doing pretty good. Some white. So I'm gonna add some white into this purple so we can get maybe a nice little fade going here, or not sure what I want to do. I think I want to play with some of this texture I see in the background. Lighten it up a little bit more. I used to paint on sketch cards all the time. A few years ago, I actually got a whole bunch. Hold on a second. I'll go get them. I figured out what I'm gonna do for points on Twitch now. I'm gonna have a button for when you get a certain amount of points to show me a mini art. And they're a little old and dusty, but I'll show everybody a couple cool ones right now. So so this is a little bit bigger than standard ACO. I think that's the name that the standard art card thing goes by, ACO or something like that. But anyways, the standard measurement is exactly what we're painting today, the 2.5 by 3.5 card size, and then that's recognized as a sketch card. But some people do double cards and stuff like that. Well, when I was coming up as an artist, I would do whatever canvas size I had. Like sometimes I would do a big painting and just have a whole bunch of little chunks laying around. So I would cut those up into pieces of card size, and I would do these little paintings. And this one here is I don't want to put my hand in my paint. Hold on. Get a better eye. Everything's backwards. All right. Yeah, this is the Witch King of Angmar from Lord of the Rings. I think this is a 4x4 card. Not sure. It might be a little bigger. But I used to do a whole bunch of these. There we go. And here's one from that Witch King was from 2014. This one's from 2016. It's Return of the Jedi Luke. And when you hear me talking about underpainting, that's kind of like what this is. There's no color, it's like one tone. But I went a little bit further and I did full on blacks and whites, like all the way up 100%. So I would consider this a done piece. But the underpaintings, when I get them going, they usually look like this right before I start adding color into them. So got this one. And these ones are special. Alright, so when I was just messing around, I did this one for fun on one of my first streams on Instagram. It's like a little burger guy. He's like, his shirt says "Eat me" if you can't read it. I don't know if you can see it too well. But it's a little cool little hippie guy with a nice mustache, little cartoon. That's when I was trying to get into making more cartoons instead of super realistic stuff. Alright. See, this is Black Panther. This is ACO standard or whatever, the sketch guard standard. It's a stormtrooper from Empire Strikes Back in the carbonite freezing chamber. I always loved this scene. This is like the best scene for me because of, let me see if it looks better over here. Yeah, that looks much better. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So I always loved this scene because of the contrast of the blue and the orange being complementary to each other, and then you know in your mind these suits are white and that they're just so reflective and stuff like that. I just loved that play in color in this scene. It's just the best. And then we got some more new Star Wars stuff. We got Darth Vader's melted helmet on the mound of ashes that Kylo Ren had in his quarters. And if you're not familiar with the lore of this scene, that's his helmet from his funeral pyre on Endor, but it was sitting on a mound of ashes of Kylo Ren's enemies. It wasn't Darth Vader's ashes that some people kind of said. And then we got Captain Phasma, looking super shiny and reflective. I think this one's a little smaller than 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch. I think both of these are. Then we got Ant-Man. I like this one. It was fun. Just a real quick one. Here, I'll give you a better look of. And out of all the sketch cards that I've done, here, I'll give you this one first. This one is Gamorrean Guard. He's really fun. That was a lot of fun to do. I love the green and orange play with a little bit of the burnt sienna. That's my jam. Real organic, earthy. Out of all the cards that I've done, this is the most detailed one that I've done to date. I still think it's my best card that I've ever done. And I did this in 2015. Let me take it out of here. So that's my best. This is my best card. I'm pretty sure this is my best card. It's pretty cool. I'll throw this one in there because you can't always win them all. This one doesn't look too good. But I did a little Spock. And since we're on the train of showing off art, I finished the Cad Bane painting last night. There was only a little bit left. There wasn't really enough to really make a good stream out of, so I'll just share it now. I can't. Here we go. It turned out pretty good. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm gonna get it a couple days more to just fully like dry. It's probably already dry enough to do it, but just to be safe, because I did paint it on a wood panel, I'm just gonna give it some time to dry, and then I'm gonna hit it with I might have to go to the store and get some more acrylic set, or I forget what it's called, but it's a satin varnish, and it just really makes the paintings like it deepens all the colors, gives it a little bit more contrast, and just makes everything pop out and still look like the same kind of like shine, a uniform shine. Because like sometimes you can get like, maybe not in this painting so much, but like it happens a lot with blacks and whites, and you can get like weird reflections in it, and if you use a good varnish over it, it kind of smooths everything out. And I've noticed when I was painting on illustration board that it makes my tool marks kind of go away. Sometimes I get a little bit of like a haze around like a brush mark. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I think it has to do with me using a lot of water in my washes when I'm painting, but I noticed that it makes a lot of those like inconvenient tool marks just disappear when you kind of go over the whole thing with a varnish. My favorite one is Golden Brand satin varnish. That one's in my opinion, the best. I really like the matte finish, but if you just barely touch it, it burnishes. And if you're not familiar with that term, burnishing means when you kind of rub something, it goes shiny. So that's completely not what you want when you're trying to get something to be matte and you have parts of it that are shiny. So satin is kind of like a nice middle ground. It's a little shiny, but mostly matte, and it's good for what the aesthetic thing I'm going for with my painting. All right, so we're getting back in there and just adding a little bit of texture to the background. Just little variance in color or shade. Forget which one is, if it's shade or hue. Can't remember. Anyways, just gonna add some more lighter areas with the purple. Just kind of working it around, making lines, and just kind of observing it, and letting the lines kind of like speak to me, and it kind of like helps me figure out which ones to like give another coat to bring it forward more. And then that's kind of like another way to do organic texturing is just kind of just picking things that look good and just adding to it, and you just get your own kind of like feel. It's hard to explain. A lot of doing things in art is just trusting your gut, along with having experience and stuff like that. At least that's what it is for me. Sometimes people, you know, you can get into art a couple different ways. You can get into it with the being free and you know, just going at it like throwing paint at a wall and calling it art. You know, you could do it that way and saying that it's expressive, it's expressing myself or whatever. You know, to each their own. And there's a time and place for every kind of expressive kind of thing. But in my path with art, it's been more of a technical passion than it has been a not super creative, but super spontaneous. Let's use that word instead of creative. So my art is more technical, planned out. I ponder about things a lot longer. You know, that's what the process is. You know, brushstroke or painting session, thought. You know, a lot of thinking, and then you make a decision on which way to go after that. I mean, I wouldn't probably spend just as much amount of time sitting in front of a half-done painting than I do actually sitting in front of the painting. A lot of it is just thinking about your next move. So now I'm just still building up that light, with just adding a little bit of white to my purple mixture, and I'm just picking out little areas that I want to highlight, which brings them forward. So now we're creating a little bit of depth in our background. No plans, just really just going free flow here with the background, just feeling it out, what's fun, you know. Let's see what we end up with. Alright, I think that's good. Let's let that dry for a bit. Let's go back into the Raven. We're using the mixture blue-black like earlier. So now what I'm doing here is just going back through all of the areas that I was laying in those dark darks and just bumping them up again with another layer, getting tighter with my lines as I add more dark paint. So then it gives me kind of like a stair step or a nice fade. We still haven't gotten any white into this bird yet, so we're still at the beginning stages pretty much, but it'll move really quick since it's a pretty small piece. I'm gonna eat. I'm freaking starving. I only ate some rice today. I was trying to actually no, I had rice and nuggets, but the nuggets I have are plant-based nuggets, so they're just like, I don't know, they're not very filling, or they burn off really quick. But I'm trying to stick to my diet. I've been doing really good for I don't know, like 3 months. Yeah, about 3 months. Like I totally stopped eating junk food and having soda on December 6th of last year, or just past December. And I've been keeping up on my diet, but not letting it take over my life and becoming unhealthy. But I find trying to live my life with a little bit more restrictions, a little bit more challenging, and it seems to be more fulfilling when I get to indulge instead of being indulging all the time. But it's something I chose to do on my own and test my own willpower and stuff like that. And I've been doing pretty good. I'm proud of it. It was a little, shell shocking, I guess, for starting off right away with dieting and stuff like that, and meal prepping and cooking your own food. But after a while, when I started losing some weight and actually feeling better, I was kind of more pumped just to keep doing it, because I actually seriously felt better. Like I ate like complete crap all the time, like to the point where I felt like sick. So I had to do something, or I was gonna start down a bad path. But now that I'm like 3 months in, it's been more of a it's hasn't been too hard. I mean, it's not like I'm like everybody else. I still want full slab of ribs, garlic mashed potatoes, 3 dinner rolls, and 2.5 big tall glasses of Coke that I slam one right after another. That's what I miss. But now that I actually have had the benefit of being able to actually feel better, it's been worth doing what I'm doing. Alright, so now we're laying in a little bit more darker blue black, just to start to hit those really solid blacks. Okay, now we're gonna introduce a little bit more more blue and purple. Just wanna try to get this iridescent look to the feathers before I start doing some more washes over it, just so the color was seated deeper. Now we got this really cool oily yellow, which is almost kind of like a grayish yellow green almost. So now we gotta mix this color. So I think I'm gonna try try this Hanson yellow. It's more of a like a lemon yellow. I don't want to introduce like a golden yellow. I think the golden yellow wouldn't go green enough for me. So I'm gonna try this yellow first, like kind of like a test. Oops, a little bit too much. A little test swatch. So we're gonna mix in just a little bit of black, just or that blue black color, so we get kind of like a green. All right. A little bit more. All right, attack it with a wash of this so we can slowly build to our color, because I'm seeing a couple different kinds of color in there that I want to get. That's too green. So I'm kind of just monkeying around with this mixture of yellow, blue, black, and white. Just trying to get somewhere. I think I need to add yellow ochre, actually. I think that's the direction. Yellow ochre is almost a khaki brown color. So let's mix that. There we go. I like that. We'll mix that with our yellow, black, and blue that we had going on here. I think that's more along the lines. Add a little bit of white. Yeah, I think that's about that. Actually, I can tone it down a little more. Looks nice. We'll start throwing these neck feathers in there. It's just a nice oily yellow color. It'll help give some of a rounded effect on the main throat. Alright. I'll have to help you with the internet when I get back. So we're gonna pull these the oily yellow feathers kind of through the whole back end here. Actually, I think I can go up into the face too with this color. One thing you need to remember is to when you start painting in colors, to bring your color throughout the whole picture, or at least little hints of it, so you have color harmony throughout the whole painting. So I'm going to pull this oily yellow, green, brown color up into the cheeks a little bit. So now we're kind of using it as a highlight. We're going to get some more definition now. So start picking those areas where it needs to be and laying it down. Start getting in kind of like a flow. As we start adding in these lighter colors, the real definition is going to start happening with the bird. It's already starting to look better. What's going on? Good to see ya. Awesome. What's going on, Geralt? We're over here working on a raven. Was talking about mixing up some colors here for his under beak feathers here, using a yellow, oily yellow color. And we're really starting to get some more definition in our painting here, because we're starting to get into the lighter colors. Just telling everybody I like to paint dark to light. And we had our chat pick out our background colors. Went with the purple. Thanks for the follow. So I was talking earlier about color harmony. So I'm trying to find all the spots that I can use this color, this yellow, brownish yellow color that I got going on here to, you know, get a nice color harmony going through the whole painting. I've even pulled the background color, this purple, into some of the parts of the feathers, and probably going to do a little bit more. So I want to make sure I get all the spots that this color that I mixed up can live in. So when I'm looking at my reference, I'm just kind of like, I'm not really like looking at the reference itself. I'm just trying to see past the bird to the colors that are there. You know, sometimes people get caught up on on looking at the whole thing when you really just gotta kind of just look at small portions of it, and then you can kind of really see like the colors that make it up. And then when you start looking at your stuff from afar, you got that effect that all the brush strokes and the texture and the colors, all the colors, everything starts to blend in and everything smooths out and it becomes one color. But when you get up to it, you get to see the real thing of art is the history of where you've been, the tool marks, the the pencil, if there's pencil underneath, you see how it began, and then you see how it ended. So those are the things that are important of art, is the, at least for me, is the craft, being able to see how it's made. So now I'm adding a little bit more white to this. Actually, I added a little bit more white and a little yellow ochre. So now I got a little bit more of a highlight color. I think it might be too. I gotta tone it down just a little bit here. Too light. I'm not trying to push that much heat right now. I'm still like in the middle spectrum of the light. For the new people that are in here, it's I like to start out dark to light, and right now I've gotten my base part of the painting done, so that would be my darkest darks. Now I'm in the middle, and I'm slowly adding lighter colors and white to these colors to tint them up and bring the heat. And going through and trying to find those spots where everything lives. I'm multi-streaming on Twitch, Facebook, and what's it called? YouTube. I'm using oh, cool. Yeah, I like to stream on Twitch, and when I'm like just having a, playing with the like copyrighted, sound effects and stuff like that. But most of the people that know me are on Facebook, so I try to keep it copyright friendly, and stream to Facebook, and keep a archive on YouTube to go along with the rest of my YouTube videos. I kind of got sidetracked when I got all into doing the streams and neglected my YouTube channels. I make a lot of like speed paint videos, and sometimes like art adventures where I go somewhere having to do with art or something like that. So I was like neglecting doing those videos because I was just consumed with trying to figure out how to get everything working with the stream and get going. But then I was happy to find out that I could do a multi-stream, so I could still throw my my videos up on YouTube if I'm not, without making like elaborate videos with a whole bunch of editing and making music for it. I take my time with my videos, and it takes a while to get them out because I have to make all the music and edit it all myself and shoot it and stuff. But sometimes I like just getting in front of the canvas and painting and not having to worry about that. And I found that doing streams on Twitch and putting them to YouTube helps me still continue my YouTube, and still lets me paint without really like focusing on all the cameras still recording and stuff like this. This is, I set it up one time, let it go, and it was a little bit different at first, but I'm getting the hang of it and enjoying making new friends and stuff like that out here. The next thing is learn how to do that Discord. That was kind of confusing at first. Still a little confused. Oh yeah, I should definitely bring some stuff to the Nordic Fest to paint. That'd be awesome. Or at least take some pictures of like costumed people. That'd be really cool. All right, so let's go back in with some black. I think we're just gonna go a little bit of straight black just to start to define certain things. Not gonna go too crazy because straight black and straight white are unforgiving sometimes, and a little bit goes a long way. Trying to get that eye to stand out. In my reference, the eye is really dark on one side and not so dark on the other. Working this black into the folds and starting to add some of the finer beak feathers. They're almost just like straight little lines. Pushing back a little bit to help round the beak out. Once we get our really hot highlight in there, it'll really stand out. Take our time, we gotta work up to that. I gotta look into some of that stuff. I'm still pretty new. I don't even I gotta set up like my my like profile page and everything for Twitch. I'm I was just really focused on just trying to figure out how to broadcast. That was like the biggest thing for me. But I'll get there. I mean, I make everything by myself, so it just takes me some time. Like it took me like a few months to figure out how to get everything set up with streaming and what I needed, and then it took me a couple weeks to make the little stream frame and different the electricity and stuff like that, and all the animated things. My starting scene and ending scene were something I purchased, but all the ones in the middle I made. So takes me a little bit, but I learn quick, and it's like rewarding when I'm able to like do stuff like that. Like when I finally figured out how to get my scene, frame and what's it called, like talking head thing to be animated and work and still look right. I was like, oh, I figured out something. Because like the only other animated thing I made was me and my wife went on vacation in Colorado, and like on those movies where they show the map and the car driving around the what's it called, the interstate or the highway or whatever. I was like, oh, I want to have that in my movie that I made for our vacation. So then I just figured out how to take a map from like the internet and put it over in After Effects, and how to make a line go all the way on the same highway that we took. And it took me all day, but when I finally figured out how to do that like 3 or 4 second clip, I was just like, oh my god, I can't wait to put this in my movie. Yeah, I was doing a little bit of dabbling at like just my first stream setup was my cell phone with a special adapter for my monitor that would mirror my cell phone screen onto my monitor, so I could read the chat and Instagram. That was pretty fun, but I just wanted to have like a little bit more variety of like angles, and just like just to have a better experience with it. So that's like when I kept looking into the streaming, and at first I didn't want to do Twitch. I felt it was a little intimidating, and I was like, nobody knows me or anything like that. I was like, everybody that knows me is on Facebook and Instagram. So that was the plan at first, but then I found out that I have Streamlabs, and that I was able to do like a multi-stream on that. And then later on I found out there's a bunch of other things that other companies you can go with that do the same thing. But it was out of it being easy to use at the moment in time, and a lot of the tutorials I was watching was based in Streamlabs, and it just seemed a little bit easier. So that's what I started using at first, after I said no more cell phone videos. But I still use a cell phone. It's right here. I figured out a way to use one of my old cell phones as a webcam. Yeah, I'm figuring that out now. They muted a couple of my streams before, and I was pissed. So now I'm just going back through trying to pick out a couple of those shadows underneath the feathers to get a little bit of a more puffed up look here. Just trying to build up that texture. Alright, I mixed up a wash with a little bit of blue black. And then now I'm going to go back over through some of the more medium shadowed areas and blend them into those highlights that we just put through here with that oily yellow brown color. It's a lot of push and pull. So I'm adding a little bit more bluish feathers to help with that iridescent look. Kind of gives a nice definition in the shadow too. Because it's not fully black, you can pull it back out of the shadows and it gives you a nice blend. Can't stop the howdy. That sounds like a t-shirt. Should make a t-shirt. Can't stop the howdy. So I'm going back through kind of like just touching everything with this thinned out wash just to knock things back a little bit after going through it with all that highlighting. Alright, so now I'm still using this blue-black wash. And just trying to soften some of the edges to these feathers. I gotta add some more. Alright, now I want to kind of start paying more attention to defining these feathery areas. So you got like 3 sections of different types of feathers. Get the nice flat smooth ones here. A little more ones that look more stuck together. And then these spiky ones that were with that greasy yellow color. So now I'm wanting to try to define the zones that, oops, that's way too much. Start to define those areas. So this wash is starting to turn the form a little bit more now that I've started to define these areas. And what I mean by turn the form is like each plane of your face or plane of anything. When something kind of has like a soft radius or whatever, that's like the turn of the form. You know? So it's like here, here. It's just basically talking about making it more round. Fancy way of saying it. Are you sure that's not Yoda? So now that we're adding these darker areas, it's starting to really, really pop. Gotta get right here a little bit more, I think. So when I was a real little kid, I was walking through the gangway at my house, and I found a baby blue jay in the gangway. It's like along the side of the house, but it was like not the cemented gangway. It was more like rocks and stuff. So the little bird was just like hopping around, not even hopping, just kind of like wobbling, rolling around, stuck on these stones and stuff. So I showed my dad the bird, and we ended up putting it in a shoebox and getting some stuff from the pet store to feed it and everything. We took care of the bird and ended up keeping it outside, and the parents would come to like the little cage that we set up out there, and they would like feed it like beetles and stuff, because like I don't know, we couldn't get it back in the nest and stuff like that, but the parent birds were still coming around, and so we left the cage outside for it to be protected, and the parents fed it and stuff like that. And then one day, after a while of us taking care of it that way, it got strong enough to basically fly away. So when I came home from school one day, the bird was just gone, and it even stayed over a vacation. We had put it up in the tree and like secured it so like the parents could still get to it. And we went on like a at least a week vacation to Kentucky, and when we came back, the bird was still there, and the parents were still taking care of it. And then we brought it down, and one day we left the door open, and it flew away. So it was kind of a cool little experience when I was little. I called it I called the bird Sky Blue. So I'm just kind of doing a little like sketchy motion here, just adding a little bit of textural lines to kind of mimic these really fine facial feathers that this bird has. Sweet. Everybody's welcome. Just over here chilling and listening to some tunes and painting this guy. What's going on? Startled me for a second. I had it loud in my headphones. So we're getting real close to being able to put some lighter colors in here. Just trying to finish out these last little defining areas. Once we start adding those little light areas, it's gonna start really popping off the page. I actually bounce back and forth. The way I like to structure my paintings is I start doing like an underpainting, which is basically a one tone of the paint of the painting. So it'd be kind of like it'll look kind of like this. So this is like underpainted. So it's got a full spectrum, or yeah. Um, I don't know how exactly the words to put it, but it's got the darkest darks and lightest lights and everything in between. So it's fully rendered in one tone, so it'd be monochromatic. And after that, then I would go to adding some colors and doing them in washes, slowly getting from thin to thick, and then from dark to light. But while you're kind of like bouncing in between officially being in those different what's it called sections of the painting, you kind of bounce back between doing darks and lights, because you know sometimes you get an area. And when I was talking about doing color harmony earlier, where I said to make sure we put the color through all of the painting in the spots that it needs to be. Sometimes those spots where that color needs to be, you know, that color might be a little bit too hot, so you might need to tone it down a little bit or soften the edges, blend it in. So then you are mixing, matching lights and darks depending on which direction you're going. But for the most part, I like to go from light to dark, thin to thick, and I always try to start with an underpainting, or at least some sort of base coat of paint of you know whatever tone I want to the painting to have, because you could do a underpainting in like a burnt sienna, which is like a warm, like has more reds, browns in it. You can also do an underpainting. You can do an underpainting any color. It just adds different things to different values to the final product. Like if you do something on the warm side and you're doing like a portrait and you do a warm underpainting, your paint when you put your glazes on the different layers of skin tones, it'll have a heat underneath it. It will show some warmth to the glazes that you put on, because the light goes through the painting. It goes to the back of the painting and bounces off, and what you see in your eye is what is brought with it. So it's, you know, a reflection of the different layers of your paint. So you could get like a cooler feel to your painting doing it with the blues that I do, or you can get a warmer doing it with the more oranges and stuff. It's all about it's like micro toning your painting, basically. And it also helps with like construction of the final piece too, being able to have like a fully rendered painting already, doing it in just the one color, and then just being able to glaze it. So then you're not really worrying about like the structure and stuff so much. Then now you're only worrying about color and like the light and shadow. You're not trying to structure it at the same time. But in the big picture, the best analogy I can say about painting is the way I paint. I like to look at it as like I'm molding with clay. So I get my structure all done out with a good sketch and a good underpainting, and then I go back in with the colors and do push and pull with the light and dark glazes and stuff like that until I get where I want to be. There was a lot of what I was. This whole painting was an example of what I was just talking about. Awesome. Get a couple crowns for me. How many crowns you got? Like 50, 50, 60? She's a headhunter over here. Taking them out. Still trying to build up those little bit of details. think I'm gonna add a interesting green. I keep seeing it. Here we go. This is a really interesting color. It's called Platho Green. It's got a kind of unique quality when you mix it with some different colors. It's really, it's got kind of a extremely transparent compared to some of the other golden paints that I use. So this might be good to add. Just a little bit. Just thin it down a little more. It's too thick. Just want a hint of it, just to give a little variation. It helps bring some interest to otherwise, plain picture. That's a 420 break. Get it. I've already used burnt sienna. No, I didn't. No. I don't think I'm gonna use it today. No. Not today. I think it'd be cool to add a little bit more of a wash to the lower end of this bird. Make it look like it's glowing a little bit at the bottom. That'd be cool. Alright, I'm going to use some Platho blue now. Just with a little touch of black. Not a lot, just a little bit. Some white. Alright, now we're going to start doing some highlights on these feathers. They can pop out a bit. That's not enough.
The Chitauri said, if you servants, you wretched little human beings, we are going to make you into gods. And the human beings agreed, said the Tao. And the Tao gave human beings a second gift, the gift of language. People started talking with their tongues where they had talked with their minds before.
Alright, so now I'm adding some really light grayish blue for some highlights on these blue feathers here. Just trying to go real light. I'm not trying to go crazy because I don't want to overdo the highlights just yet. Well, I don't want to overdo them at all. I'm just not really ready for to be doing the highlights just yet, but I need to add a few things before they get lost. And sometimes I found a trick if I want like certain things to pop out, but I'm not ready to be using white. I'll paint them in on a lighter with, you know, a lighter tone, almost like a highlight, but then I'll go back with a wash, a light wash to kind of like go over it, and then it drops the ones that I didn't highlight down further while toning the ones that I did highlight, which still gives me an extra layer to go back in and put that like straight white highlight. So it kind of helps me still add some more separation and depth without surrendering straight to the white. So now I'm just trying to add little touches of this highlight color just to bring up a little bit of these really faint facial feathers that he's got going on here. Some more attention on that eye. I kind of neglected it a bit. Little stipples around the eye, just showing that it's a circle, catching light. For people that don't know what stippling is basically just little dots. There's a whole movement in painting where people did paintings of just dots, but the collection of dots would form interesting pictures. There's a famous one of people sitting at a park with a little monkey on a leash, and everybody chilling out by a riverside or something like that, a canal or some sort. That's all done with stippling. It's all just a bunch of dots. I got a buddy that likes to do a lot of that kind of stuff. Find it interesting, but I don't think it would scratch the artistic itches that I need to do. Alright. So now I'm trying to do this really skinny highlight here. So I just got most of that paint off my brush and trying to go through and just kind of ghost it in there. But you got to be careful when you're working with the washes and you're doing real fine detail, because when you pick your brush up after doing a brush a movement, sometimes you leave a small dot of paint and it looks kind of odd. So that's why sometimes I dab my finger on a mark. I do it for a couple of reasons. One is to remove that water that I was talking about that leaves a little water stain or excess collection of pigment in a specific spot. And it has an even dry appearance after I give it a tap. The other reason is to if I over saturate an area with some paint, like I make a mark but it was too bright, I could just roll my finger over it and it'll take off half of that paint. Or if I just screw up, I need to wipe it off. So now we're just trying to get a little bit of this beak texture in there. Their beak is kind of like what your fingernail top looks like. Let's get that faint striations across the top. So I'm trying to add a little bit of that. So now I'm using that light wash that I've been working with and just making some little lines to look like those faint facial feathers too. Just creating texture and some variance in the colors to break it up, make it look interesting. So now I'm using a little bit more stippling just to mimic those really fine feathers around this eye. So now we're just going back into this background, adding a little bit more of a darker bluish purple, trying to just push it back a little bit. Just about done, I think. Just gonna do a little bit more on this background and then hit it with some straight white straight out of the tube. And I think that'll be pretty good. Oops. Oops. Too much. Here we go. Let's add a couple stars. My favorite technique with stars is to randomly put them in there, different sizes. But I like to put them in with a little bit of a wash, and dab them out, like a couple of them. Put them in, dab it, just so you have some variant in different heats from the star or different brightnesses. And then sometimes I go in with darker and lighter shades of the highlight. Oops. So you have, some bluer stars, some whiter stars. Just about to wrap it up here. So we got our, oops. Some more bluer stars in there. Just a couple. Add some white. And on some of them, just dab that white back into them, just to get a, take away from some of the ones that were already, I don't know, I mix and match them. I do all the stars in one color, and then I pick some and make them less bright, and and some of those other ones I pick and I make them different colors, just so it's more random and less look. It feels less like you just went around and dabbed them all. So it just kind of breaks them up and makes it a little bit more organic and more real feeling, that you have like differences in the brightnesses of your stars and colors. Okay. For our finishing touch, let's take that little bit of blue that was still on our brush, just add a bunch of white to it, just so it's mostly white with a little hint of blue. And let's go around and just pick a couple spots that are in need of extra highlight. Well, I think I'm gonna call it there. I think that was a pretty successful little painting there. So, let me turn my music down here. All right, so like I said earlier on in the stream, we were doing a sketch card standard size, which is a 3.5 by 2.5 inch little canvas. It's made on masonite, which is just like a wood product, and it was just gessoed on one side, and then I sketched the little crow on, or the raven on there, and let's take a final look at the guy. Turned out pretty good. I like the stars in the background. And I want to say thank you to everybody that stopped by and all the new followers. And thanks to Geralt for giving me a raid. That was pretty awesome. Appreciate it. And thanks a lot for stopping by. I'm Pale Horse, and you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Art by Pale Horse. I got a lot of videos on YouTube about my journey in art over the last couple of years, and some art adventures, a couple vacations that me and my wife took, and you can stay pretty much up to date with all my projects on Instagram. I post to Facebook a lot less now than I used to, but a majority of my current stuff is on Instagram. But thanks for everybody for stopping by. I enjoyed doing this little painting for you guys and letting you know, kind of the process of, doing this. And we'll take one last look before I go. When I clear coat this with some golden satin, it's gonna look really, really nice, because like it's still catching all of the you see how it flashes a little bit on the black. See how you get that inconsistent shine. When you put the satin on it, it looks all one shine, and all the blacks get darker, all the lights get lighter, and it's just a lot of cool contrast. But appreciate everybody for stopping by and having a great stream with me. And I usually try to stream on Saturdays most of the time. Thanks for the follow, just as we're wrapping up. But you can see me again sometimes on Saturdays most of the time. But it's been busy this last couple of months, so I've been missing a couple of Saturdays. But most of the time Saturdays, and sometimes Monday and Tuesday. Today was kind of just an extra little special one because I didn't have work today. But I'll see you guys next time.